Hi, lovely people. Today it's Monday, the 30th of March 2020, and it's the beginning of a new spiral, red magnetic dragon. Today in the UK, we're on lockdown day 6, and what can I say about it? It's surreal. It's not something I ever imagined happening in my lifetime. And very key for today is about what we've experienced, what we're initiating, because today is all about the essence of Red Dragon, which is the archetype of what the Great Mother is bringing us to allow us to see all of our survival issues. We have the Sun in Aries. We began the solar wheel at the spring equinox, and that was in the yellow star wave spell, the last wave spell, being the star that we really are. And so the key to this Aries to Libra time of being out on the land is all about blue self-existing monkey. And so what does that mean? It's about how we be self-existing and independent as the divine child. So we are revisiting all of our childhood experiences right now, and whatever we may feel about this time, whatever opinion we may have about what is actually going on, in terms of the Mayan wave spell, what is going on is that we are now amping up in terms of being made to see and experience who we really are as a human being, and what's resonating for us around our childhood. So a really key way to look at this framework, if you want to work constructively with it as a transforming alchemist, is to see who exactly you are in your house with. Who are the people who are with you? Maybe you're alone, maybe you've got furry friends with you. But this is really, really key, because this is taking us back in time. It's a shamanic experience, and we're having a huge interruption in terms of our timeline and a complete encapsulation of the transformation process now that we're here to do. So again, one way to look at this is to really see what's pushing our buttons at the moment, and to write that down, and then to really work with that. And as always, I recommend you use emotional freedom technique so that you work with your amygdala and you get to know yourself. This is an amazing time for us as individuals to individuate and really get to know ourselves, to understand our biology, to understand our psychology. Today is an amazing day to initiate a process for yourself that you will see the manifestation of in 9 months. And the key really for each human being as a planetary server is to do this conscious awareness process, to just focus on the inside in order to change the outside. and let go of focusing on everything else in the world as a priority, and focus on yourself as a priority, because we cannot change anyone else. We can only change ourselves. We cannot change our past. We can only change how we feel about it. And this is so key for Red Dragon. This gives us an opportunity now, especially if we are in our own home, especially if we are really working with that energy of everything being cut off. And so noticing how it makes us feel, noticing what we miss, noticing what we value, noticing how we are reacting to the situation. It's all great information for the individual, the adventurer, who is ready to become even more emotionally free and self-existing. So in terms of the book I'm recommending today, Mayan Astrology from Aluna Joy. And if you check her out, I'm not sure that this book is still in print, but if she has some copies, you can order them. And they have some amazing information in that. So IMIX is the sea dragon in her book. And just to show you where we are, so we're beginning here. There we go, first day of the 260-day cycle again. We're here on the portal square. So we're starting a 260-day cycle. We're also starting the first 20-day cycle, which takes us down to another portal, as you can see, which is yellow resonant sun. And so in this first 20-day process, we're running through from what we're initiating around our survival code, because this is what comes up with Red Dragon. This is what Red Dragon archetype is all about, is our survival issues. And certainly on the world stage right now, if you don't have this coming up, when are you ever going to have it coming up? You know, because this is unprecedented times which we're in right now. The planet is Neptune. So we're initiating through this 20-day process down to what is resonating with light and what is resonating with shadow. This process, this time, is all about the dark sun time of healing the shadow. And in a micro capsule of this, what this is about is our story, our personal story from childhood that is beaming out onto the world. And if we choose to make it conscious in terms of ourselves, if we choose to heal our story, then we become clear. Yes, this is a lifelong process. Yes, it is a challenging process. The most challenging thing for the ego is to face all the hurt. If you research emotional freedom technique, you will see that this is an amazing therapy that helps you heal your emotional triggers and get clear, and it works. Okay, so this is a really key process that we're going through. By the time we get to 2 weeks from today, we're going to be here in the second wave spell. And this is White Magnetic Wizard. So by the time we get to here, we've completed the 9-month circle from when this started last year on the 26th of July. We're in a 13-year cycle of White Wizard now, and that will change to Blue Lunar Storm on the 26th of July this year. So we'll be going into the new learning around all our empowerment issues. Are we letting the magic flow through us? Are we clearing and healing? Are we stepping into our power from the inside? Becoming able to be in our center no matter what is going on the outside. So by the time we reach here, we will have done the 9 months, and then we will see the manifestation of our self-empowerment. We've got a very challenging week ahead astrologically, so ground as much as you can. These energies are coming in to make human beings evolve and change. And so the more that we align with what the Great Mother is bringing us, the more that we get into the flow. So whatever has been happening for you today is really key. So back to IMIX. So she gives lots of different versions of explanations around IMIX. As I said, the planet is Neptune, and Neptune is really about the ability to go deep into esoterica, to know great wisdom. And in order to do that, we have to let go of any delusions and any illusions that we have, first and foremost about ourselves. Remember, this is one of the most critical points of the shift, of the assemblage point for people doing this transformation journey. In order to see other delusions and illusions, we need to work on them on ourselves. If we're still in a process of using frameworks that have the ability for us to be delusioned and illusioned, we cannot access and embody deep wisdom and esoterica because the frameworks are not the same. At this time, at this juncture, we are being asked to choose our path. We cannot choose both paths. This is key. So it's the first Mayan sign, and all red signs are about awakening. They're about the east. They're where the sun rises. And so what are we awakening to today around our survival? How many plans have you had over your lifetime to give you a good, solid footing on the earth around your finances, around your choice of career, your choice of partner? When this situation happens to us now, that can be all swept aside. How many times has it been swept aside for you? How has that made you grow as a human being? How has that made you step outside of your comfort zone? Some great cards that I have are some NLP cards, which I don't know if these are still out there. They're called Insight cards, and I got them when I was doing my NLP training 13 years ago. But they're great fun. I'm just going to bring these up to you so you can see them. That's a website on there, and I use them in my groups. So as you can see, they're split into past, present and future, and the wild card. So I always start with a present card, And so the question today, if you choose to use it, is what, I don't know if you can see that, it's very bright, isn't it, the light there? What is your response to this? So what is your response to whatever's happening for you? And I guess the big topic of the moment is the lockdown and the reasons for the lockdown. Yeah. So what's your response to this? I've been out today shopping, and I didn't like the experience. Didn't feel comfortable. Found it quite upsetting. Okay, so the past card is, again, I don't know if you can see that for the glare. Oh, that's better, isn't it? So that's, how did you previously describe this? So if you're like me, this experience will have happened to you in some way before. Like the same codes are 9/11, for example. Blue self-existing monkey was the same code on 9/11. How did that make you feel? And that happened. The world changed. Also, the bank crash in 2009. How did that change your world? For some people, it didn't affect them. For others, very much. Here's the future card. How will you be describing the situation in the future? Interesting question. So, jump to the future, look back, and the wild card today is impossible. As you know, if you watch my videos, I always talk about what is your mission impossible in life should you choose to accept it. Now, if you notice, two of those cards were very similar, and these are great ways of using NLP questions to really get to a deeper framework underneath. So the things that are running underneath that we want to bring to conscious awareness, these are the key. And we do this with astrology, we do this with the Mayan calendar. I offer you, it's already written, and we have code in order to come in and do our mission impossible. We come to bring our gift. So today is a really good day. As I said earlier, what is your gift? What is your heart's desire? Is that flame still burning? Can you access it still, even though everything else is going on in the world? This is really important. And so to initiate that today, really, to focus on that, to initiate that, and notice what's getting in the way of that in terms of your self-belief. We're here to change our story now. So I'm just going to read a few lines from this. IMEX is the light of day, the conception, the brilliant idea, the flash of inspiration, the groundbreaker. They have outstanding courage and strength and are hardworking. They excel in being warriors, merchants, or keepers of wealth. They are enemies of idleness, being constantly active and rarely wasteful or extravagant. They are initiators of creative intentions. They are masters of the material world and the realm of physical reality. They are always starting projects, even when the current one is not yet finished. Sometimes they tend to be bored with the details of finishing a project and may lose interest before following a project through to completion. So, again, it talks about emotion. And remember, this is the emotional evolution. When we go into the second year of this 13-year cycle on the 26th of July, this is the Mayan New Year, then we will be going into blue lunar storm. And so we will be seeing our shadow. We will be seeing where we're ungrounded by everything that's going on. And it is very difficult not to be right now, because it's such a big impact on everything and everyone. and we are all connected. IMEX are motivated by the need for emotional security that is obtained by hard work. The emotional confidence gained when the work is done or a project is completed is highly valued. When this sun does manage to create security with hard work, they tend to fall into lethargy. Strong appetites followed by periods of rest is a common trait of IMEX suns. Food addictions are common. Indulgences in food and drink are second nature and can be obsessive. This trait could cause health problems later in life due to high fat and sugar diets. And again, this is a real key issue at the moment, is noticing how we self-soothe. So what are we doing to deal with this situation, and is it healthy, or are we adding more problems for ourselves? Because things are being restricted now as well. So we're restricted in how many times we can go out, we're restricted in what we can buy. Again, just notice how it's making you feel, and if you choose, you can let go of this now. Again, emotional freedom technique is a really good way to stop addictions, because addictions are coping mechanisms, and ideally we want to be changing that now, that focus towards healthy ways to use our energy and to release our anxiety through really clearing it, which again, emotional freedom, I know I sound like a stock record, but it works, will help you do this. So please do check it out. emofree.com is Gary Craig's website, has loads of resources on there for you. Okay, so again, balance by creating a home or owning their own business. And so again, this is really key for people right now, isn't it? Because whatever you've chosen to be in at this time, you will be out of balance in some way, because businesses have been closed and there's no choice about that. They're just told to close and they have to close. Some businesses are very busy and they can't cope and they're expanding, and many people are working many hours. So there's lots of contrast going on at the moment. And it's just noticing what's going on for you and how that makes you feel around survival, and how you learn from this experience, how we all learn. So in terms of the cards today, I got Hathor, which is all about joy, and a beautiful goddess card. So again, it's remembering that the returning sacred feminine is coming in, trusting that we have to go through this process to evolve as human beings. We're being made to do this process now because we didn't choose it ourselves in a lot of ways as well. It has to happen at this time because it's the universal time to do this process. In terms of the Mayan card, I got Blue Monkey. So again, going back to what the Aries Libra process is going to be all about. So from the spring equinox until the autumn equinox, when traditionally we go out on the land in the Northern Hemisphere, and we're there as a hero and the heroine out on their journey. What do we want to create? What do we want to initiate around new beginnings? How are we repeating our childhood patterns? Of course, Blue Monkey is all about Venus. Venus is out there next to the moon at the moment. You can see her. She's the evening star. And So again, Venus is really about what we value, what we love, and how we are maturing as human beings. The Thoth card, I have got 10 of Wands, which is oppression. We see the manifestation of oppression. And so again, this 260-day cycle, which is in Aries Sun and is in Gemini waxing moon. We're going to have North Node going into Gemini, where there's going to be a big shift around where we're headed for in our solar expansion, around right relationship coming up in May. So this is really key, and that is where I have my North Node, so it's going to be really affecting me. So as always, I quote Eli Tarot strikingly.com. I think he's got great explanations of this, of all the Thoth tarot. And this is so key to this time, is about the narcissistic pattern and energy. So again, I'm going to paraphrase here, but please check out, because his explanations, there's lots on there. This is the world of pure spirit leading to material force selfishly applied. Pure spirit is pure mind, and as many of us know, pure mind is without empathy. So force is applied without concern over collateral damage. Hence, discernment is one of the reasons our spirit operates through a human body, for to learn empathy for the living on must be alive. This is witnessed as your spirit applies force. It can feel sensually how that force impacts a living organism, i.e. its very own physical presence. This takes time, space, and a sensual connection that the physical being supplies to the spirit being, all of which is necessary for spirit to master the creation of self-image masterpieces. So in terms of, we have Saturn in Aquarius now until July, and so we're seeing who we are as cup holders of God and Goddess. We're learning how our choices create certain outcomes, and this is consciousness. This is all about embodiment. This is about how our actions speak louder than words. And I watched Captain Fantastic today. I don't know if you've seen that. Very powerful film. Affected me on a very deep level. And one of my favourite songs, albeit by Guns N' Roses, not in this format, but such a beautiful version. Check it out. I will be putting it on my blog. Sweet Child of Mine. What does matter in this lifetime? What do we really want? What makes us feel good is about connection to beings, whether it's human beings, animal beings. It's about love, and it's about feeling that deep connection to other people, feeling seen, being able to see others. All of that comes from being able to see ourselves and doing that inner work. And at this time with Chiron in Aries, which was conjunct Saturn over the spring equinox, this is about our wound. Who am I? Who is this construct of personality that I have created? Where does it come from? Is it serving me? Am I able to have authentic, loving relationship in my life? Because if I'm not, then I'm in a hell of my own making a lot of the time. I'm in relationship with people who aren't conscious, who aren't honest, who are often cruel, who are often disrespectful. And, you know, this is the world stage. This is the play that we're living out now, reliving these old stories. And there's so many powerful things to watch out there that really bringing up this theme. I watched Unorthodox as well yesterday. Highly recommend that on Netflix. And again, the more that we can experience other cultures, other people, get to know them, then we can get to understand people as well. When we understand history and we see where people have come from, what terrible experiences human beings have had, we can understand why people act in the way that they do, and that often they're very afraid of other people, in particular people in their own tribe, in their own family. And this is where it all stems from. And it's so important that people heal this. Otherwise, it just carries on, because that is the nature of it. This is what has to be healed. One of the sayings that came out in Unorthodox was, we never saw our stories being reflected back to us. In other words, we often felt lost in a narcissistic pattern or wound or world, and were bewildered by it, were deeply hurt by it, deeply confused by how other people treated us as a child, and how they projected their own story onto us that wasn't us. So, in order to change the world, we had to create our own stories. And that's what we're doing now. We have cleared the delusion and illusion bubble within ourselves to some degree, and we're starting to get clearer. We're starting to understand that there are people who have certain behaviours, and as much as we may wish that they didn't have those behaviours, unless they do this inner process, unless they do this inner transformation, they cannot change. No matter how much they may say that they will, they cannot, because understanding this process is so key. And then letting go of anything that is toxic in relationship is essential for us now as human beings, so we can shine, so we can be our gift to the world. In terms of the Gemini Moon degree, again I use Inside Degrees, which is aquaofire.net. At the Leo time, when this process started, I always pick that 11 a.m. because that's the heart meridian time. We had Gemini at 16 degrees. So I'm just going to read that to you. A single sunflower wilting and dropping its seeds. The sun shines so bright that it compels all of us to empty ourselves out and bake in the light and the warmth of spirit. We are transfixed by solar power and impelled to unite with our destiny, no matter how extravagant or unlikely that destiny proves to be. A momentum is pulsating with edges to track. In order to do so, you have to breathe into it and let go a whole lot. And then there you are, calling onward. You can hear it. Everybody else can too. And so the spirit caller cracks through and brings futures alive in the light of a sun that never sets. So beautiful, people, even though it is challenging at this time, many things are closed off. to us on one level. And often when we go out into the world now, it can be very challenging and surreal, and it feels like we're in some other movie. What I offer you is, we are here at this time to change the world by changing ourselves, and that's where the focus has to be. Do not get lost in the outside drama for too long. Go there, see what it's like, feel what it's like, understand what has created this, what has allowed this to be manifest in each human being, and most importantly, where has it come from in you? What buttons are being pressed for you now? Because you're now at the edge, we're all at the edge of our comfort zone. And we are creating a new future, we're creating a new timeline. Dates are changing, and we have to go with it. We have faced huge challenges many times as human beings in our history. And remember, that is in your DNA on a cellular level. Everything about this time is about survival, is about cellular level, is about what's coming up for each one of us. Each one of us is unique. We've all got our own circumstances. We've got some shared common ground. You will be repeating a story of challenge of your own. And when you really put your attention there, you know what that is. Once you learn to use a tool like tapping, you can follow your triggers, you can follow your emotions back to when this was created for you. And what we're seeing now is that each person's story, their holograph, is there. You can hear it, whatever they're talking about, whatever their fear is. This is what has to be addressed for each one of us now. This has happened many times on the world stage in different formats, and this is an amalgamation of them all now. So wherever we feel fear about other people, about the patriarchy, about being told that we can't go out. How many times did that happen to you as a child? That you weren't allowed to be free to go out to do what you wanted, you were restricted, you became afraid of other people, you were bullied. We've all got those experiences, and now it's time to really heal that so that we can be emotionally resilient, emotionally healthy. When we're emotionally healthy, we're physically healthy, because we don't tend to do all the coping mechanisms that make us unhealthy. We don't need to do them anymore. If you'd like any more information about your mind code, for example, if it's your birthday today, you've just started a new 13-year cycle. If you'd like to know more about how each wave spell impacts on you, if you'd like to know more about your astrology, if you'd like to know more about EFT, to build your skill and use this time of great change to change yourself, and please do get in touch with me. My website is flowwithjo.com, and everything that I have done in person up to now, I'm now doing online. So you can join me for webinars, workshops, one-to-ones. Just get in touch and we can connect. I have groups as well, and I specialise in groups for women around self-empowerment and working through these issues right now. So if you'd like to know more, please contact me. Lots of love with your 260-day challenge, and let's all create new beginnings from within. See you soon. Bye for now.